Marcus. A bit of a frustrating last 2 sessions there. How do you guys see it?
Yeah, it was very frustrating. Yeah, we expected to get a few more wickets after the first over of the day. The third innings, that I thought we, with the ball nipping around, you felt like it was going to do a bit more. But I thought they batted really well. They stuck at it. They were quite positive to start with.
AajTak, is he all right to bowl? Is he fit at all?
We're hoping so. Yeah, like he's a bit stiff and sore. He's had quite a big workload in the last few weeks, and obviously then batting in the first innings, he was getting quite a bit of cramp and stuff. So hoping that with another night's rest and a bit more physio work overnight, that he'll be back in and doing a bit tomorrow.
Is there a particular injury, or is it, like you say, it's just a build up of the wear?
I think it's just a build up. It's just such a heavy workload from where he's been to what he's doing. I think it's just trying to monitor it, and obviously the cramp that he was getting yesterday. You have that little bit of worry. Of course you do, because of what previously gone on. But we'll see what he's like tomorrow.
David, go ahead.
Hi Marcus. How impressed were you with Ben batting today, and how pleased are you that he returned form with the bat? Obviously has been with the ball. It's his first big score with that.
Of course, great for him. He's been working really hard in just trying to find the rhythm and get the feeling back of getting those big scores. He's had a few, lower scores, a couple of 30s and bits and pieces, but to get the rhythm today, especially today when he came back out, I think we saw a couple of shots this morning which were back to his best almost. Yesterday he had to work hard. He wasn't really feeling completely in flow of what was going on, but today it looked back to normal. So really pleased for him and for the team.
We'll go Sonia and then Mel and then Vish.
Obviously, it's a bit early to tell, but we know the impact Ben's had with the ball throughout the series. If he isn't able to bowl tomorrow, how much of a blow would that be to the attack?
Well, of course, you take anybody out of a 4-man attack or 5-man attack, it creates a hole, and when you're trying to push for victory on a pitch that is, it's quite tricky and gets quite slow after the ball gets older. Let's not forget, he got 5 wickets in the first innings as well. So of course it's challenging, and it's never great when bowlers go down or you don't have someone available to do the work that you need to do. It's then just up to everybody else to sort of pick up pieces and do the extra workload. You'll probably see Joe Root bowl a little bit more if he's not available. But let's wait and see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be all okay by tomorrow.
Mel, go ahead, and then we'll go to Vish.
I guess just following on from that, it often feels like when everything is a bit flat, it is Ben Stokes who lifts, whether it's a piece of fielding or if it's when bowling in that attack. Is that a worry at all? You talk about others kind of having to step up. Is there sort of the real need though or what's the lack of someone else stepping up at this time? Is that a worry, I guess?
Look, I think we've got 10 other guys in the team who are capable of doing special things also. I know, Ben gets highlighted a lot, as other players, someone like a Jofra does as well, because they can bowl 90 plus miles an hour or do something special. So, it's not something new. We've had it in different occasions. Over the last couple of years, we've also played games when we know that we're only going in with 3 seamers and a spinner. So it's not something the guys aren't aware of. It's up to everybody to find the feeling and find something and make something work right in the middle. So I'm sure they'll do that.
Vish, Stefan, and we'll finish with George at the back.
Hi, Marcus. How much of Ben's fluency with the bat that you saw today would you attribute to, I suppose, how much trust he has in the batting line at the moment? This has probably been, I suppose, the ideal test in terms of what you've been pushing for. Just with the longest innings under Stokes and McCullum, but also just the way you were able to tick over at 4.25, and the fact that Ben's the last of the top 7 to get 100 this summer. Do you think that has something to do with it?
Well, you can tell he's been desperate to get big scores and contribute more than what he has been. No doubt about it. When you've got the rest of the guys all chipping in and all making match-winning performances and impacting games, everybody wants to do that, all the way down to number 11. Even Jofra, I can't get him out of the nets in the morning. It's like he wants to bat and he wants to get runs, and everybody's capable of doing it. But Ben has been searching and looking for opportunities to be able to do so. And like we said already, that today the second part of the innings was his most fluent that he's been since probably the West Indies game when he went out and smacked it in the second innings there. So it was good to see. It's nice to have when you get a top 6, top 7 who are consistent and doing well and performing. Obviously, it makes for a good team.
I suppose from your perspective as a batting coach, is that the most satisfying innings you've seen?
I thought you were going to say, is it down to me then? But no, of course not. Look, I sit there and watch the guys and enjoy every moment. I live every ball with them. So there's various things that everybody is working upon. And it's like when you're getting those moments and you see a success, then great. And Ben is no different to that, just because obviously the length of time that they've played, him and Joe or the senior guys. And it's good to see him performing back, to where he wants to be.
Stefan and then Josh to finish.
Sorry, it's another Ben question. In Hamilton, albeit in different circumstances after he come back from that first hamstring injury, he bowled a lot of overs, got injured.
Mm-hmm.
Here, he's bowled more overs than he's ever bowled in a series, bowled 24 in the first innings, took 5, that was cramping up when he was batting, and he hasn't been able to bowl in this second innings. How difficult is it to balance his workload with his influence? Because a managed Ben Stokes is better than no Ben Stokes.
Yeah, for sure. It is, he loves bowling, he loves batting, he loves diving around in the field, sprinting and doing everything he can do. It's really, he is that person that just wants to be involved in the game all the time. And of course, as anybody sort of progresses in their career, they pick up little niggles or injuries that may be a little bit more prone as you go along. So you have to manage everybody as they get a little bit more longer in the tooth. And him no different because of his impact. He's obviously being captain of the team. You want him playing as many games as possible. So of course, if we can somehow find a way to limit the amount of overs he bowls in particular, then of course we have done. And maybe we've seen it at different stages throughout this series already, where he hasn't necessarily bowled those mammoth spells like he did in previous times. I know at Lords he did over the course of in between days and either side of tea or whatever it may be. But if you find a way, if we can find a way, then of course it will benefit. The more games he can string together as a captain and as a leader in the group and the all-rounder that he is, the better that's going to be for the team, of course.
George?
But given how precious he is to England and what's coming up, was there not quite a compelling case to get a lot of people on the pitch today? And was there one this afternoon? And is there anyone who can persuade him to do that when required?
He's not going to leave the field today. Obviously, he's going to be captain, so we need him to do that job. And he's still fit enough to run around in the field and do what he needs to do. And B, if he was off the field, then he wouldn't be able to come back and bowl tomorrow, which we're hoping we'll see.